Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, I've got some news for you, and this one for me is kind of bittersweet, I'll be honest with you, and I'll explain why as I get a bit further into this. So let's do this. So we have Prove AI launches on Hedera. So let's get into it a bit more. Big news, Casper Labs is now Prove AI. We're officially launching on the Hedera network, bringing more scalability and efficiency to AI governance. Learn more in our CEO's blog post on proveai.com. Okay. So, what's the deal with this then? So, Prove AI was formerly Casper Labs, which was for the crypto token Casper or CSPR. And I'll be honest with you, I'm actually a Casper holder. And so, this is a bit of a weird one for me, to be honest with you. Now, I will say this, I'm more of a HBAR holder than I am a Casper holder. I will be honest. Now, Casper's one that I did have a bit of confidence in. I wasn't like overly, I wasn't invested into it too heavy. So this doesn't really hit me too hard. I'm way more invested into HBAR than I am Casper. But this is where like it lets me know that I was on the right track with Casper, because the actual Prove AI, like what they're doing here, this is a great use case. So the fact that they're coming to Hedera with this, it is good, but it's just funny because what's kind of happened is they've kind of betrayed Casper. They've betrayed the Casper network to come over to HBAR. That's the kind of issue with it, right? And so in a way, for me, I'm winning this either way, right? Because if this ends up being real big for Hedera, well then my HBAR holdings go up. So it's not just like because this has happened now, I've lost out because of Casper, because the use case is still there. But I do just feel for Casper holders, right? Because not every Casper holder is a HBAR holder. This is why I told you guys before, I'm in 20 different cryptos, and this is exactly the reason why, because you don't know when these kind of things can happen. Like, this was completely unexpected. Let me just make that clear. Like, when this was Casper Labs, the whole idea of this use case was to be on the Casper network. So they've essentially like just ditched and turned themselves away from the Casper network. It's a bit odd. I'm not going to lie. Like, it is a bit weird here. But I will say this, like, if they've come away from the Casper network, they either haven't got as much faith in the Casper network anymore, or they just believe that there's other networks out there that's better than their own. That's all there is to it, right? Like, imagine if you heard the HBAR Foundation suddenly say, hey guys, we're kind of deciding that we've got this great use case for our network, for our foundation, and we're going to go and do it with XRP, right, on the XRP ledger. Like, it's just crazy, right? Like, you wouldn't expect that. So yes, it is an independent entity from the Casper network, but of course they were called Casper Labs. The whole point is that they were building for Casper, the network. So yeah, I kind of like, this isn't shady. So as I say, it is a bit of a bittersweet one. I mean, a lot of people are saying watch out now because of apparently the guy who did this, the CEO of the company, apparently he owned the network. He had some dodgy dealings, and so he created Casper Labs as a way to separate himself from the network, but he still had all the tokens from when he was owning the network. And then they're saying that basically he used Casper Labs to separate and then dump on retail, and now he's kind of dumped all the tokens. He just wants to move on to another chain to help try and bring the value back up or something like that. So this is what they're saying. I'll be honest with you, I haven't researched this too heavily because Casper wasn't one of like my real heavy holdings. So yes, I did believe it had some potential, but I wasn't like going into it over heavy. So yeah, in all honesty, I'll be honest with you, my research isn't too heavy into Casper. I'm way more research into Hedera, because I do believe in Hedera more long term. But look, I don't really think there's much they could do to like betray Hedera, because at the end of the day, they're no one to Hedera, right? Like, the reason why you would have had that kind of position of power to betray the Casper network is because they were building for that network, right? They had this amazing use case for the network, and then they've just dumped it from Casper being utilized. And so one of the main use cases as to why people were so bullish on Casper is they've been taken away, right? So obviously that's a huge blow. But there's nothing really they could do to Hedera, because even if they turn around now and said, actually, we've decided we're gonna take this to Ethereum, for example, it's not going to matter because Hedera wasn't really expecting this anyway. So this is like, oh great, this is cool, this is a use case for Hedera. But if they turn around and said, actually no, we've changed our mind, we're going with Ethereum, it's like, oh, okay, easy come, easy go, right? But for Casper, the network, like, they were depending on this because this was going to be one of the main use cases for the network. So for them, it's like a huge blow because now it's like, well, have you got any other great use cases? Like, you know, what if this was going to be the main thing that drove like value, liquidity to the network, right? It's that kind of thing. So, yeah, like I say, like it is a real good use case. I'm not about to lie about that. Like it will be great if these guys can, you know, really do well on Hedera. So putting the whole, you know, shadiness aside in terms of the Casper network situation, you know, if this can be really successful, it will be great for Hedera. So, you know, in that regard, I'm happy to see it. It's just weird because it's coming from something that I was also invested in. And for me, I feel for the holders because I'll be honest with you, he has betrayed the holders. I can't act like that's not what's happened here. He really has because, you know, this was meant for Casper. It was. It's just that simple at the end of the day. So to just kind of, you know, just dump on your holders like that, and you know, the prices understandably took a hit like it would. You know, it's basically almost like a rug pull. You know, and like I've been reading up about it, just little bits and bobs, and like they are saying like this was completely kept in the dark. There was nothing, you know, said that this was a possibility. Like it was promised it was going to be on Casper. This was one of the big things. And so they've got people, you know, invested on this kind of information, and they've essentially like rug pulled them, right? Because they're not now going to bring this out on Casper. So what's going to happen? People are going to panic sell because then they think Casper's going to be worthless. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the end. Like it could be that they could, you know, get more use cases for Casper, but let's be honest, like it's going to be difficult. It's going to be an uphill battle for them. So yeah, I'm trying to do this video in a way where I'm not just looking at the positive side for Hedera holders, HBAR holders, but it's trying to just acknowledge that, yeah, well, this is good for us as HBAR holders. Like it's a bit of a messed up situation for the Casper holders, and I do feel for them. I can take the hit because I wasn't too heavily invested, and I am invested in HBAR, so I could make up for this through HBAR. But you know, for the Casper holders, like, you know, this is messed up, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this is messed up, and I do feel for them. I really do. So, as I say, this is a bittersweet one for me. We'll see how this goes. I do think it is a good use case, so we'll see how things go from here. As I say, I don't really think, you know, because some people are saying like, don't trust the CEO because, you know, what he's done. I don't really think there's anything he can do to Hedera because, like I say, he's not in a big enough position to do anything. He's now just like a developer, right? Like he's just a developer to Hedera. So, he's not in a big position where he's in with Hedera, like leemon, baird and all those kind of guys. He's not calling any shots or anything like that. So I can't see what he could really do in that regard. But yeah, in terms of the Casper guys, you know, the Casper holders, yeah, they've been left holding the bag. Me included, right? Like, I'll be honest with you, like, I've had to take a hit on this one, and this is where I say, like, you know, diversity is the key, because this is like, for people who may have only been invested in Casper, not to say that it's completely game over, but yeah, like, it's not looking good. Do you know what I mean? It's going to take a lot now to rebuild trust back into that network and to try and get value to it now when you've taken away, like, what was the biggest, you know, use case for them. So yeah, I do feel for everybody involved in that regard. So, you know, this is unfortunately also the downside to investing. But for the HBAR holders, look, this is a good use case. I think this will be good. If it takes off well, then this could be something that's very positive for HBAR. So in that regard, hey, you know, at least it's on a network, I suppose, where I can still potentially benefit from it in some way, shape or form. But yeah, like, just give some thought to the people out there who, you know, who've kind of been in this position now, against their, you know, will or their knowledge, you know, because this is a bit of a shame to see. So yeah, overall, great stuff in terms of, for us as HBAR holders, this could be something very positive, but yeah, it's a bittersweet one for me, I'll just be honest. So I'll leave it there, but let's see how things go. You know, we'll keep an eye on these developers at Prove AI. We'll see what comes from it, what kind of use cases they can bring now. I'm definitely interested to see how this pans out, because it's a very interesting situation. So, you know, we'll see what happens, but I'll keep you guys updated, okay? Alright, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. and hit that bell. Take care.